Welcome, beautiful goddesses, to Teach, Travel, Talk. I am Megan, and my mission, goal, and vision is to help guide you through the crazy journey of life and of being a human and having this human experience. Because until we realize that we are the creators of our reality, we can either make life very difficult for ourselves, or we can make our world incredible. But it's all about how we perceive our world and the world around us. So this is for you. Yes, you, the one listening, so that I can uplift and empower you to look within yourself and find that inner light, love, guidance, and intuition that will lead you to unbecome who the world told you to be and bring you back to who you were meant to be and who you were supposed to become in this life. So let's dive deep into conversations that will bring you teachable moments to implement throughout your daily life and to help reprogram the way we think. I am super excited for this Tuesday and bringing you this podcast because I've been working the last few weeks on creating a workbook for you amazing, incredible goddesses and for your family and friends. And it is a workbook about overcoming obstacles in life. I find this workbook such a great tool for anyone to use and implement throughout your life. If you come and join me in my Facebook group, TEACH.TRAVEL.TALK Tribe, you will not only get a free Overcoming Obstacles workbook, but I also have a free 2021 Goals and Habits worksheets for you that you can start implementing into this next new year and create those visions and goals for yourself and keep going with that throughout this whole year, being mindful, being present, being in the here and now. So I want to share this gift with you because I love helping and I love sharing, and I want to give this to as many people as I can. So with that, I thought, what better way than to share with you how I have overcome many obstacles in my life. And if you listen to my last podcast, it is all about the different habits I've implemented throughout my journey, and it took a lot of trial and error to figure out what was right for me and what my soul gravitated towards and what I love doing and what brought me creativity, brought me mindfulness, and just brought me back to myself and helped me be connected with myself. And I hope that in that podcast you could find maybe some habits that you would love to implement, but we are all different human beings and we all love different things. So if you don't have some habits or hobbies, I would recommend Google some hobbies and just start doing them, trial and error. See if you like something. If you don't, move on. But that's all we can do, is at least try to be more mindful and to create a more healthy, happier life by creating new habits, new ways of thinking. And it is a hard journey. It's an everyday journey. It is an every second journey of being mindful. And instead of looking at these bad things as bad things, I started looking at them as opportunities to learn, to grow, to adapt and change. And I stopped forming societies definition and meaning to the word bad, and I started implementing my own meaning to the bad in life and those negative experiences, because they are part of the human experience. We are never going to escape having those negative, bad things from happening to us, but it's all about how we react to those situations and transforming the way we perceive things and look at things, especially just like this, taking the meaning of a word and transforming it into what we want to make it. So in this episode, let's dive deep into the roadblocks that life hits us with, and even has us questioning sometimes, why am I here? What is the purpose of this? Is this really what life is about? And instead of being mad at the world for those experiences, slowly coming to that realization that these problems are here for a reason. And I may not know that reason here and now, but I eventually will know. And I will say, as I kept implementing and learning new skills, it became so much easier to find those reasons in the bad. And it helped me just shift my way of thinking and honestly start laughing at those situations and making fun of them. I am a big laugh at myself, make everything kind of humorous, because why not make it what it is? Obviously, in certain situations, you can't do that, but for me, myself, when I'm alone, I just laugh at these things. I let them go, because when we internalize all of the problems and negativity, you don't realize how much your body is holding on to all of those things in every cell of you. And that is why we all have so much tension and pain and hurt, and we don't release it. We don't allow it to transmute into something different. And for me, that is why I've always spoken my truth. I've always spoken about my life journey, because the more I speak about it, the less power it holds on me. And I know for a lot of people, that is very difficult to talk about our traumas, to talk about the negative things in life. And trust me, I get it, but it became such a powerful thing when I took control of my story and of that narrative, and I just switched my way of thinking, and I said, wow, actually, I appreciate all of the things I used to think were bad or negative, because it propelled me into a new way of thinking, a new way of reacting to things, a new way of perceiving things. And it has helped me on my journey of discovering my purpose on this earth and discovering who Megan is. And I've loved becoming more connected with myself and overcoming life's obstacles. So I want to say one of the biggest and hardest lessons I ever had to go through was letting go of people that maybe they needed to disappear from my life to teach me some very valuable lessons. Or again, maybe it was just that they exited this earth for a reason. And sometimes it is really hard to let go of things, especially our family members, our friends that we think are going to be there forever. But when people are not aligned with your higher purpose and where you want to be in life, those people are only holding you back, and you're allowing them to hold you back. And I know that, it does get really difficult to sit there and say, but how do I let go of someone so close to me? And it's not easy. Let me tell you, it isn't easy, but it is worth it. It's hard because people think that when we let people go, that they will never re-enter our life. But I'm a firm believer in what is meant to be will come back to you, and you must set it free. And I've loved that journey of, if people in my life are not aligning with who I want to be at that moment in time, unfortunately, I have had to let go of a lot of people. And if you've listened to my past podcast, my 5th episode of my traumas, you will see that very close people to me, I had not a lot of choice in letting them go. But you know what happened? The greatest thing in the world is that once I mastered, I wouldn't say mastered, but when I became more aware of myself and I learned all these new skills, these people came back into my life at the right time, at the right moment, when I could learn from the past and see that, oh my goodness, there was a real reason behind why I had to have those people out of my life. And I appreciate them so much for that, because it made me an independent, strong person. And I needed that. I think for me to grow as a human, I needed to be alone. I needed to see that I can do this by myself, that I'm powerful enough, and that I'm the only person that I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. So I better be happy with me. And it can be difficult, because I know that even for me, some days I look in the mirror and I'm like, do I like myself right now? Not necessarily. But I transform that and I say, no, Megan, we do love ourselves. Don't ever say those negative things. I know you're feeling down. Maybe you're depressed. Maybe something is going on in our mind. But let's find that so that we are not putting ourselves down. Because why do that to ourselves? Seems so cruel and so harsh to say such negative things to ourselves. And I never want you to do that. I want you to say beautiful things about yourself, to say nice things. And I hope you listen to my last one, because if you do not talk in the mirror, I really recommend starting this practice of talking to yourself in the mirror and becoming connected with your higher self. And that's where it starts, by looking yourself in the eyes and saying, I love you. You are powerful. You are magical. You are all these incredible things. And I'm so happy that I get to be you. That I get to be Megan, that I get to experience this human life with you. Now, with letting go of people, I think the biggest thing as well that came with that was this fear. The fear of being alone, fear of never being loved, never being accepted. And all those fears just turned in my head and made me always doubt myself and made me not like myself, and it tore me down. And it wasn't until I embraced fear and I took it by its hand and I said, let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's face my fears, because obviously they are there for a reason. So let me figure out what those reasons are. But in order for me to figure out those reasons, I need to face my fears. And I need to do those things that I fear the most. The biggest thing was being alone. So what did I do? I was alone. I love my alone time. It got me connected back to myself. It made me become my best friend. But it made me get rid of all those other fears because I then truly loved myself. I needed to be the one to accept myself. I needed to be everything for myself. And this was for everything that I did. If I had a fear of traveling, and how many other people sat there and told me, oh my goodness, you're a woman, you can't travel by yourself, you can't go there, that's a dangerous place. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna allow fear to run my life. I'm gonna take control of my life, and I'm gonna do the things that I fear the most so that I can say, I have conquered my fear. I've done it. And it has been the most rewarding thing, being able to face my fears in daily life. And this brings me to my next point, because a lot of fear comes with these next things that I'm going to talk about, which is listening and communicating and setting boundaries. Listening is one of the biggest things that we have a problem with in this society, is we do not listen with the intent to want to understand the person. We are listening with the intent to reply, to speak about ourselves, to speak about our problems. We don't actually take that time to stop ourselves from thinking and paying all of our attention to that speaker and what they're trying, what their message is to us. And that was one of the biggest things that I had a problem with, is that I did not listen to anyone. I didn't want to listen to anyone. I thought I was always right. I didn't want to hear you. My stories are better. I'm better. It was just that ego and coming out and not wanting to be involved with other people because I was so involved with myself. And surprisingly, I did not become aware of my listening problem until I gave up drinking. Shocker. And it wasn't until I went out to the bars with my friends who were drinking, and I would just sit and observe everyone around me. And it was crazy to see these people intoxicated, and people that, you know, normally are so shy and not talkative are just, you know, speaking so loudly and wanting to be the center of attention. And I just sat and I looked, and I thought to myself, wow, I am them. I'm that person. When I was drinking, I know I was that way. And how many of them, you know, never listened to me when I said, hey, we gotta go, let's go, I'm gonna drive you home. Oh my goodness, it was like 5-year-olds trying to get them in the car, trying to get them to do what I wanted. Oh, it was terrible. And I felt sorry for anyone that ever had to do that for me, because I was not being mindful. I was not listening because I was so wrapped up in myself. And obviously when we drink, you know, any self-awareness or control we have over ourselves kind of goes out the window, and the alcohol kind of, takes over. But it was such a great experience, and I'm glad that I had it. And it really stuck to me when some guy came and sat down next to me. Oh my goodness, you're a really shy person. I never see you talking. And I just laughed. I laughed so hard because if anyone knows me, I am a talker. I love talking. I don't mind being the center of attention. Sometimes I will make myself the center of attention. But it was funny to me because this person that did not know me, who was seeing me at a bar and was, perceiving me this way. And I just thought, wow, okay, so everyone perceives me differently depending on, what different situations I am in. And it was crazy. And it made me become even more aware of myself and aware of others and how they perceive things differently than me. And after that conversation, I promised myself that I was going to listen to others. I was not going to interrupt them. I was not going to be distracted by anything. I was going to give them my full attention. And of course it was difficult because I had been having these habits of not listening to people, and now I needed to implement a new thing, which was now listening to people and not having my ego in the way and wanting to be in that limelight, the center of attention, and it to be all about Megan. So that is what I did. I stepped back and became more of an observer and started paying attention to the words that are coming out of people's mouths. But not only that, but seeing their body language, how they're saying it, because some people, they hide behind it, but our body language can definitely tell us something more that is going on. And I will say listening is a skill, but we can all attain this skill if we are determined and if we want to evolve and if we want to have these great relationships with people. It starts with us, and it starts by listening to others. But as I was learning to listen to other people, another big point came to me was that I needed to start listening to myself. I had someone in college tell me that I use the word like in every other word. And that right there just showed me how unaware I am of the words I am speaking. And it made me start to be aware of myself. And it was crazy how many times I would say that word. And I thought to myself, if I'm not even aware of one little word that I'm saying, I might not be aware of all the other little things that I'm saying to people, intentionally or unintentionally. But I'm not being mindful. So that was my biggest next step, was learning how to listen to myself. And it's great because it gives you a chance to stop and think before you say things, before you just react. Because that's all we do mostly, is we react. We let our emotions take over and we let it control everything. And once our words are spoken, they cannot be taken back. And for me, that was a big thing because I had an anger issue. And trust me, I could get very verbally abusive. And eventually, it made me just stop. If I was upset with someone, if I was angry with someone, I stopped. And I said, look, I need to go calm down. because I might say something I will regret, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to remove myself from the situation, and when I calm down, we can come back together and talk. And as long as I said that to people, it was awesome. You know, there was no big fight, there was nothing, because it also gave that other person time to kind of chill, relax. And that was one of the greatest accomplishments for myself, was getting rid of that anger and getting rid of that reactive Megan. And a big thing that helped me was speaking to myself and speaking out loud. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I speak to myself in my head. Yes, but you're not actually hearing yourself. And that's a big difference. So that is what I started doing. I speak to myself all the time. I'm my greatest best friend, and I give myself great advice. Not all the time, but most times. But it's a great skill to have, is being able to talk to yourself. As I started traveling, I noticed that I became even more intentional with my words, because when you are speaking to people that English is their second language, one, you have to slow down, which I loved, because I do think we need to slow down and think before we say things. And that was the other thing, was I had to be more intentional and more precise with my words to get them to understand what I am trying to get them to understand. So I would need to think before I said things and how I was going to say things. And it just helped me become more clear and more specific about what I wanted. And again, when I do come back here to America, it is really hard, because I get out of the groove of being mindful about myself and my words, and I start and I don't like it, because I go backwards. But it's okay, because then I catch myself, like when I'm listening to myself on my podcast and I see, okay, Megan, let's be more intentional, let's speak this way, just let it flow, don't rush it, just let it go. So another big thing is communication, and I think we all have a hard time communicating with people, and communication and listening are one and the same, and we need to become more effective in our communication with others. And trust me, again, this is not a skill I acquired overnight. This is something that you must practice, and just keep practicing. I'm still practicing. I've not mastered this. It's a lot of trial and error and learning how to communicate, because every person is different, and you're gonna have to go in with a different mindset and a different approach to different people. However, communicating is all about getting someone to understand where you're coming from without blaming or without pointing fingers, because again, everyone perceives things differently. So when we are communicating, it's all about, hey, I want to communicate how something has made me feel. Yes, you may have been the one that caused me to feel this way, but I'm not pointing fingers, because that person might not be aware and might not be mindful of listening, of communicating. So sometimes it is our job to get people to learn how to communicate with each other more nicely, more productively. And the biggest thing that I learned was always speaking about myself first, right? And the biggest thing is saying, I feel sad when you don't pay attention to me, when you're on your phone, and I would really appreciate having that quality time with you without interruptions. Do you think that we could work together to maybe put our phones away when we're having a conversation? See, how much better does that sound? Someone is going to be more receptive instead of you being like, you're always on your phone, you never listen to me, why are you not listening to me? No, when people feel threatened, when people feel that negativity, they instantly shut off. Their mind, click, done, off. So they're not listening anymore. But when you come with a different approach, it transforms the whole entire conversation. And unfortunately, in a lot of communication, we always think that there must be a winner. Someone must be right, someone must be wrong. When that isn't the case in communication. Communication is all about either understanding someone or misunderstanding someone. And if we misunderstand someone, it's good to go back and be like, hey, this is what I think you said to me. Or this is how I perceived what you said. They can say, oh, no, that's not what I meant at all. Or, oh yeah, that is what I meant. So it is about learning to ask questions, to sit there and be actively listening and reiterate what people are saying to you. So one, they know you're listening, and two, that you guys can be on the same page. And that is the hardest thing that we have to overcome. And this brings me to my next thing that I, just over the last few years had to learn, and that was setting boundaries. Because boundaries are so important for our mental health. Because they are what guide us and tell us, hey, this is not acceptable. I will not allow this in my life. And I need to explain that to people. People don't know what your boundaries are, and they will push and push and push. And most of us just accept it. And we have this conflict within ourselves saying, dude, this is a boundary that you have. Why are you allowing someone else to break it? Because they're family. Because they're your boyfriend. Because they're this person. No, that's no excuse. No one should ever overstep your personal boundaries. And sometimes it's hard because sometimes we have fought with our own personal boundaries and not implementing them with even ourselves. So trying to get other people on board with your boundaries can be very difficult, but it's necessary to live a happy, healthy life, especially our mental health. And we must implement them with everyone around us, even with ourselves. So we need to take the time to sit there and say, hey, what makes me uncomfortable? What will I allow in my life? What will I not allow in my life? And if someone is doing that, then communicate with them. Say, hey, I will not tolerate this in my life. And, either let's find a solution for this. A really big one I can come up with is I really don't like drinking. My dad does drink a lot, and I finally have set up boundaries with him, and I've told him, hey, if you are drinking, I don't want to hang out with you. I would like to spend time with you sober. So I put that boundary in place. Has it completely been 100%? No, but that's when I need to go back, talk again, because sometimes people forget about those boundaries, because they're your boundaries, not their boundaries. And sometimes they don't understand why you need these boundaries. And it's important to communicate and also to listen to the other person and to kind of find that balance. Another boundary, I have set with myself is not allowing negativity in my life. And that is a huge one for me because I only want to surround myself with positive people. I don't want people that are going to cause drama in my life, negativity in my life. It's just unnecessary, and I would like to move away from those people. And for me, it is hard. So I need to look within and say, okay, if there are any people that are negative, I need to sit there and have a conversation with them. Maybe it's, someone is talking bad about someone else. Hey, I don't want to listen to it. You can go and talk to that person, but I don't want to hear any of that. And that is setting boundaries, or if someone just constantly comes with you with negative. And a big thing that I have learned, and I still am trying to implement, is when I do need to talk about, something may be negative in my life, or I just need to get something off my chest, I'm trying my hardest to ask people, hey, are you mentally capable enough to listen to what I have to say? And are you able, to handle this? And I think that is such a great boundary, and respecting someone else's boundary instead of just throwing all of this on someone when maybe they're also struggling. And that is the biggest thing that we need to start being aware of, is not only setting boundaries for ourselves, but seeing that sometimes we overstep other people's boundaries, maybe making them uncomfortable, making them upset or angry. We need to see what is it that we're doing and look within. And sometimes we have to start and ask people, hey, I see that, this made you feel this way. What could I have done differently? What did you not like? So sometimes we can also ask other people about their boundaries. And I think that that's so important, because then we're not just looking at ourselves, we are looking at other people and saying, hey, you are also this entity, this human that needs these boundaries. And sometimes if I can come in and help you to set those boundaries, hey, all of us have different skills, and it's all about building up these skills and teaching each other how to implement these things, how to be aware of these things. And it's a great thing, because even for me, I still need to be reminded to do all of these things sometimes. And it's really nice being able to talk to friends and family, and when, they might be talking to me and I have great words of wisdom for them. And then it's nice because when then I need those words of wisdom, I go back and I get that. And it's incredible. So I highly, highly, highly suggest setting up boundaries, or even just taking a moment to sit with yourself and see what your boundaries even are. All right, and that brings me to my next point, which is, I'm going to wrap these two kind of in the same boat, which is empathy and forgiveness. Because I definitely feel like both of those kind of go hand in hand together. Because we need to be empathetic not only to ourselves, but to others, and come to that realization that everyone does perceive things differently, and that everyone has their own journey here that is unique and have gone through different experiences. And we have to understand that, we have to forgive people for maybe saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, and realizing that sometimes it's not about us at all. It's about maybe what mood they're in, what happened a day ago, a week ago. We don't know. And sometimes we have to kind of rein it back and take a look at what is surrounding us and how we can make a difference. And a lot of time it's just sitting there and being empathetic towards how someone else is feeling or what might be really at play here, and not taking things so personal. And I feel that we tend to do that a lot, is take things very personal, and that is when we let our ego, our emotions take us over and control us. And empathy isn't about emotions, it's about being able to really walk in someone else's shoes and say, hey, I may not have gone through exactly what you're going through, but I can feel what you are going through because I've had similar things happen to me. And I'm sorry that that is happening and you had to experience that. But again, it's taking and transforming those negative into positives and finding the appreciation in all that is happening. Because in this reality, we do tend to gravitate towards the negative and only recall a lot of the negative things that happen in our life and that are happening around us. And that is a lot of fear-based as well. I mean, look at just what is going on in the world right now. It's a lot of fear-propelled propaganda and negative news. And instead of embracing this chance as the human race to sit and observe and to be more aware of ourselves and transform these negative thoughts of some people and turn them into positives. Being here with our families and our friends and getting to have these closer relationships and being able to take a moment to sit still and to observe the world around us. And you know, we should take this time to not consume, to not, you know, constantly be materialistic anymore and just buy. This is the time where we should be investing our money. We should be learning how to be financially responsible and to do those things that are going to help us in the future, not here and now. And unfortunately, a lot of us have not learned those financial concepts. And, you know, eventually I will talk about my journey into the financial world and into many other things, because I constantly love learning, not just learning about myself and ways to be a better human and to be the best version of myself, but how to explore these topics and expand my mind. And you know, things just, I have a passion for many different things, and I'm constantly learning and dabbling and this and that, and I love it because my mind gets so stimulated, and I constantly find things that I'm great at and things that I'm not so great at, but I still give them a try. And sometimes those things that I'm not very good at make me want to keep learning, find someone that can get me to where I need to be to learn those skills that I want to attain. For me, I always thought that I couldn't do something because guess what? My mind told me I couldn't do it. And it wasn't until, again, back to facing our fear, when I faced my fear and said, no, I'm only not good at this because I haven't tried, and because I let outside people dictate what I am good at and what I'm not good at. And if I wasn't good, they would tell me I was bad and I'm never gonna succeed. And then that became part of my programming, and I started saying that to myself, and I refuse to do that anymore. I refuse to talk negatively to myself, to tell myself I cannot accomplish things, that I cannot do something, I run and do the opposite. I tell myself that I can succeed, I will succeed, and that I can accomplish anything I put my mind to. And I have accomplished a lot, and I can't wait to share that journey with you of all the amazing things that I have accomplished in my life. And I think you will see from even just the last few podcasts of different ways I have helped myself. But the reason I've started with being self-aware and being mindful is because it sets you up for success. It sets you up for the rest of your life and how you treat life. And again, when you learn all of these different things, learning just opens up a whole nother realm of possibilities, because not only did you learn how to listen, and you are listening attentively and actually grasping that information that is being presented to you, but you're able to communicate those messages and transform them into your own words and teach them to other people. And again, being empathetic with yourself. If, hey, I read something, I'm not comprehending it, and I'm just gonna give up. No, many people have failed, but guess what? The thing is, they kept going. They kept believing in themselves. They didn't say, hey, I missed one shot, I'm never gonna try and shoot a basketball again. No, I'm gonna try a million times until I make it. And then when you make it, man, it's worth it. It's so worth all that struggle, all of that, all of that work. And you just see that when you put your mind and determination in it, you can accomplish anything. But you have to help yourself be on the right track in life and making steps toward being a better person and being more mindful, so that you can live a spiritual life. I am very spiritual, however you want, religious life, anything, but being a spiritual person is learning how to connect with yourself, how to be at one with yourself, and to tap into that higher power within yourself that already knows how to guide you, because our intuition is there. It's always helping tell you that something is right or wrong. Do we choose to listen to it all the time? No. But that's because we've got so wrapped up into thinking that things should be a certain way. And when we have our mind set that, hey, I want things to go this way, we tend to forget about our intuition. And even when it's, that pit in your stomach is telling you, don't do it, and you're like, I don't care, I want to do it, so I'm going to do it anyways. And then what happens? Usually maybe something bad happens. But again, it's then your intuition telling you, hey, can we listen to me more? Because I'm not leading you down this horrible path. I'm leading you to learn these lessons and to not go down that same path over and over and over again, but to transform and to go to that next level in life. And I hope that all of you can take away from this and try to practice this within your daily life. And again, I hope that you can come and join me on my Facebook group. The link will be down below in the show notes. And you can go through this obstacles workbook, and it will help you to overcome many of these things, like listening and communicating and finding your purpose. And I hope that it can help you transform your life and help you just through this next year of becoming a better person and becoming the person you want to be. Not that anyone else wants you to be, but who you want to be. And I will just be happy if I can help one of you, because that is my goal. And I hope that you have found some amazing teachable moments in this podcast. And I hope that you all listening now can join me next week. I might be putting out one of the unicorn talks, or maybe it'll just be me again. There are some things I still would love to share with you guys, especially eventually I want to get into talking about my travels around the world and my experiences, because even that helps us bring us back to that goal of being happy and healthy and doing the things that bring us joy in life. And that's something that brings me so much joy in life, has been traveling this world. And I would love to share not only how I did it, but how you could do it as well. If that is something that you've always wanted to do, I'm definitely here to help. You know, I've lived abroad for 3.5 years. I am recently back in the US, but I will be going back soon enough when, I get myself prepared and figure out what my next step is. So I cannot wait to share that on my next podcast next Tuesday. And thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the words that I'm saying. And I hope you have enjoyed this. Please comment, tell me what you would love to hear, what you need help working on, how I can help guide you, because I would love your feedback. I would love to hear from you. And I would love for you to join me so that we can even have more intimate conversations and go through that workbook together maybe. I think it'll definitely be helpful for many of you, and I hope that you can grab a hold of that gift. And that will be my final say in this. Another thing that I do want to share with you guys is one of the things that I personally do. So if you're not aware, I am vegan. I tried to live a very conscious life, and that does mean being cruelty-free and living a more sustainable life. And I work with a company called Monet, and it is a beauty, hair, and skin products, and I absolutely love them. They are vegan, they don't have sulfates in them, they don't have parabens, they are 100% plant-based. They are an incredible company, and I'm so glad that I started working with them. My hair did not grow for about a year, and finally getting this product, my hair has never felt this more amazing, hasn't grown this long. It's just incredible what treating our bodies correctly with not these harsh chemicals and with plant-based ingredients can really help our body thrive. I will put my link below, and you guys please contact me if you ever feel the need to buy anything. I highly recommend, if you do want to try anything out, they do have a 30-day money-back guarantee, which is amazing, why I love them as well. And if you love them, you can be a VIP member, which all you have to pay is $19.99 for the first activation fee. Then after that, you never have to pay again. You get 15% off. You are guaranteeing that you will buy 3 times within that year, and they must be $84 or above. And then after that, every year you just have to buy 1 time of $84 and over, and that will keep you active for life. So if you want more information, I'm always here to help, and I hope that you love the products as much as I do, because they are amazing. And obviously I love that they are vegan and don't have any harsh chemicals in them. They also do an amazing thing with their packaging. They have boxes, and you can send back donations to them, any old clothing or old items, and just ship it back in that box, which is a really cool thing. So I hope you can support me, even if it's just listening to this podcast, or if you want to treat yourself better with some amazing skincare and beauty care. I would love for you to treat your body correctly as well. All right, magical, beautiful goddesses, queens, and unicorns. That is a wrap for this show. And I'm so thankful for all of you that keep listening. And I wish you the most magical, successful, loving, inspirational, creative, everything wonderful, positive vibes year that is just full of blessings for you, and health and prosperity, because we all deserve it. And I hope that you can take this year and transform it into the best year yet. And I know that it is hard with everything that is going on in this world, but take that time to find your inner self and connect with her, connect with him. If I got some unicorn boys on here. So everyone, I bid you adieu. Have a magical, magical day, night, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are on this planet. You are not alone. I'm sending you love and light and happiness. And I just want to say, namaste.